Welcome to How You Livin', a transformative podcast featuring best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and minister, Dr. Rick Rigsby. And now, Dr. Rick.
Hello, friends. Thanks so much for joining us. I want to discuss distractions, specifically how easily we're distracted today, and perhaps offer a few strategies that might help us deal with all these distractions. Let's face it, the odds are stacked against us. It's easy to be distracted in this era of digital overload. We're exposed to millions of bytes of information daily. They stream into our brains from multiple channels and platforms, and all this information competes for and demands our attention. Attention that has been on the wane over the past few years. Friends, as information increases, we know attention spans decrease. The late Herbert Simon was a professor of political science. His work also influenced cognitive psychology. He wrote on one occasion, quote, "A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention." Let me say that again. A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. Over the last decade or so, the attention span of the average adult has plummeted from 13 seconds down to 8 seconds, and experts say it may even be less for younger ages. I can tell you this as a speaker, I notice that it is a constant challenge to hold the attention of my audience. I will often say in the middle of speeches that as a former professor of communication, I can tell them that we're not trained to listen. As a matter of fact, 50% of what we hear, we forget just like that. Of the remaining 50%, we lose 38% over the next 24 hours, unless we massage that information in some kind of way. And the cause for this decrease in listening is an increase in distractions. And I think that social media has played a role, but let's not be so quick to blame social media. It is our inability to balance social media. For all the good social media has produced, there is a dark side, and we represent that dark side. In his book titled Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains, Nicholas Carr noted back in 2010 that the overuse of the internet dramatically affects our memory, our retention, concentration, even relationships. Recently, Carr published an updated version of his work. He stated back in 2020 that more than 10 billion, that's with a B, 10 billion smartphones have been sold. There's a generation of young people who cannot even imagine not having a phone in their hands. It would be like a world without cars or a time when indoor plumbing was the norm. Carr cited a Nielsen media survey of media habits among adults who now look at some type of an electronic screen over 9 hours a day. Oh, baby. The dramatic increase is not merely due to the proliferation of tablets, but to the explosion of smartphones. These days, friends, we can't go one moment without checking our cell phones. If you don't believe me, just recall your behavior when you're standing in the line at the supermarket. If we have to wait more than 5 minutes, that phone comes out. Now, I want you to listen and I want you to focus on this. Researchers at the University of Arkansas Monticello report that students who did not bring their phones to class appeared to focus and concentrate more. In fact, from a quantitative perspective, those students scored a full letter grade higher on exams. Wow. Listen to what Nicholas Carr concluded. I want to read this quote. He said, "When we constrict our capacity for reasoning and recall and transfer those skills to a machine, we sacrifice the ability to turn information into knowledge. We get the data, but we lose the meaning. Barring a cultural course correction," Carr concludes, "that will be the internet's most enduring legacy," end quote. A major challenge that I had as a university professor was attempting to convince my students that breadth and depth of knowledge is not acquired with the click of a button. It's a hard sell in this age that is convinced that instant knowledge is analogous to cognitive retention and deep meaning. There is a cause and effect at play here. The cause, constant and rapid overload of information. The effect, massive attention deficit. The outcome, a society that is easily distracted. Friends, we are created to have interaction with others. When that process is dramatically altered, we limit the capacity of our brain to think and to concentrate and to reason and to focus. Thus, we hinder the growth of our own minds, all because we're not balancing social media with humanity. That's the argument that Dr. Tim Elmore makes. Dr. Elmore offered a dynamic TED Talk a few years ago about the inversive relationship between technology and emotional intelligence. Elmore said that technology isn't going away, but we must learn to balance it with human existence. He quoted Kevin Kelly, who said once, quote, "Smart technology advances so quickly, it outpaces our ability to civilize it," end quote. Elmore asks a probing question. Has technology caused us to lose our humanity? In his TED Talk, he cited a University of Michigan study. The results are startling. As technology increases, empathy tends to decrease. Empathy dropped by 40% among university students as social media increased. Also, as social media increased, peace of mind decreased. Not only are we losing empathy as a society, not only are we experiencing declines in peace of mind personally, not only are we experiencing increases in worry and anxiety, we are becoming more and more distracted with each passing day. Business consultant Robin Sharma says the average person is distracted a minimum of 2 hours every single day, interrupted every 11 minutes. Then it takes 30 minutes to return back to a deep level of thinking. Friends, I'm just like you. I battle distractions each and every day. I try to win most of those battles, but every once in a while I lose, like a couple of weeks ago. I was working on a chapter for a book deadline, and after about 30 minutes, I just decided to check my emails. I don't even know why. I just decided to look through my emails. Then I went to overstock.com. Then I went to amazon.com. Then I went to fanatics.com. That's the sports apparel shop online. 2 hours later, I discovered that I hadn't written one additional word from earlier in the day. Distractions. It's not social media's fault. It's our inability to balance distractions with our human existence. So, what should we do to combat this? I think we need to realize that social media is not going anywhere. I think Elmore is right. We love the speed of information. We love the convenience of information at our fingertips. We love being entertained, whether it's Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok. We love having that digital media right there on command to look at whenever we choose. But experts continue to point to balance, balancing that human activity with that screen time. Now, while this may seem challenging to you, I just want you to think back, those of you that are old enough, just a few decades ago. We balanced without even thinking. We had no choice. Remember eating together at the dinner table? Remember picnics with no cell phones? Because we didn't have cell reception. Because we didn't have a cell phone. If you're of a certain age, you remember sitting on the front porch and just talking. Talking to friends, talking to relatives, talking to neighbors, interacting with people. You know, we may not have porches anymore, but we do have steps. We have backyard patios. We have chairs outside. Just try, just for a few minutes a day, to interact with someone. Most of the nights that I'm home, my wife and I sit on the back patio. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we listen to music, sometimes it's just quiet. No phones, no interruptions, just being together, just hanging out. Friends, I'm telling you, my batteries get charged. I got the idea from my dear friend Jeff, to be quite honest with you. He told me that all of his life, some 40 years, his parents have had a date every single day. For over 40 years, Jeff told me that his folks share a cocktail together, just the two of them. He told me that when they were children, the rule was you could bother mom and dad for 23 hours throughout the day, but not during that one cocktail hour. So I want you to use your imagination. Leave your phone in the house or leave your phone in the car or power it down. Just 1 hour a day. I know what most of you are thinking. Impossible. Guess what? No, it's not. Just 1 hour a day. Intentionally build interaction into your day. Share at least one meal a day with others. Rediscover the porch in your life. You just might be surprised how less distracted you become as you brush up on listening skills, as you force yourself to focus more to what's being said. Remember, we're not designed to live in isolation. Getting off our phones and rediscovering the art of conversation increases our empathy, increases our compassion and concern for others. Regarding distractions at your workplace or at your desk, why don't you try my 45-15 method? It's pretty basic. You see, friends, I have attention deficit disorder. I've had it all my life. It's been a blessing because it's forced me to seek creative ways to focus. For example, during graduate school, I taught myself how to focus for 45 minutes, and then I would reward myself during the last 15 minutes of the hour. I still employ this strategy with good results, barring that occasional internet surfing trip. Another strategy, try to work during a time that offers fewer distractions. Find a time that works for you. For me, it's working early in the morning. I'm an early riser, so this is not a problem for me. I can get more done between 4 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the morning than I can during an 8-hour day. Now, I have a lot of friends who are night owls. They work best and they are more productive at late hours, right? Whatever the time, pick a time with fewer distractions if you can. You'll just be amazed by how much more you will accomplish, by how more focused you will be. Here's the bottom line. Don't allow technology to cause you to lose your humanity. Don't allow technology to cause you to be so distracted that you don't listen, or you don't respond, or you don't show empathy, or that you don't have time to recharge or to think or to slow down or to ponder and reflect. Friends, we're paying a high price for refusing to balance our lives with social media. Maybe the absolute best advice I can offer is this. Hang out with grandma and grandpa for just a day and just observe. Come on, somebody. If your grandparents are still with you, hang out with them. If your grandparents have passed on, find some folks from that earlier generation, that World War II generation. For me, it's my wife's parents. It's my in-laws. Grandma is in her 80s. Grandpa, as we affectionately call them, he's in his 90s. And when I hang out with them, I observe something very special. They're not in a hurry, ever. They're not stressed. They're not restless. They're relaxed. They're at peace. They enjoy conversation and they enjoy each other's company. And guess what? There is no cell phone in sight. And somehow, Grandma and Grandpa managed to stay current on all the things that are important. The best advice I can offer all of us, hang out with some folks in their 80s and 90s and just observe. It just may change your life. That's going to do it for this episode. Until we meet again, this is Dr. Rick asking the most important question I can ask. How you living?
Are you ready to make an impact in your world right now? Do you want to stop existing and start living your best life right now? Dr. Rick wants to give you the first chapter of his best-selling book, Lessons from a third grade dropout, absolutely free. Just go to www.rickrigsby.com/free gift to get the print or audiobook right now.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.